Everyone, and welcome back to Vic Acres Wonderland. It's been a while with us because there's been a little bit of issues behind closed doors, shall we say? I think that's the best way to put it. With things going on that we couldn't escape. But the good news is we're back. The sad news is it's an international break. The good news is we can go back and look on the Champions League game against Bayern Munich. Jesus. Let's try that again. Against Real Madrid. Now, this fixture last season was a happy and sad affair for many reasons. One, for both of us, Lottie, who you've been there for 2 out of 3 of those games. How are you? Well, firstly.
I'm knackered. I've done 4.5 hours of football in less than a week. So I've enjoyed myself. Don't get me wrong. I mean, League Two, Premier League, and the Women's Champions League. What is them to complain about? Apart from the astounding lack of referee decisions. Let's just put it that way. Dirty, dirty Barnets.
A couple of hours ago, we were saying, "Come on, the beans." But before then, let's get on to the reason why we're here. The game against Real Madrid. Actually, before we talk about the game against Real Madrid, let's talk about the news, because there is news. So, first of all, the WSL game against Manchester United is now officially slated into that Saturday 12:30 kickoff on Sky Sports against Manchester United. Lottie, you happy with that? Or
10th of January. I mean, it's a long way off once we do our final game on the 17th of December for the 2025. Yes. 17th? Yes, because we're away in the Netherlands to OH Leuven.
Close. No, it's Belgium.
Belgium. Oh my gosh. I don't know anything about them, so close enough. But again, sorry to certain good friends of mine. I know they will be wringing my neck later on. But yeah, no, 12:30 kickoffs. Got them around Sky. Being on Sky is great, but it's not great for fans. It's an early start. And the amount of people that travel down and up and down the country, that's not fair. It's really not fair. But on the same side, we'd complain if we weren't on Sky. So I'll take it for now. Yeah, it's just Man United. There's nothing else for me to say.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens as well if some of these matches act as like a catalyst to say, well, you need to be moving in the market now. So I'll be interested to see what this game does bring. And bringing that a little bit one day earlier, I suppose, helps. But at the same time, Arsenal are going to have a congested January. In fact, just to go through this, we've got WSL. We'll have FA Cup. You'll have League Cup as well, which we'll talk about in a little while. And potentially Champions League, but even including that, squished somewhere in January, probably towards that end there, you have it's not really the Club World Cup, but it's essentially the shorter version of the Club World Cup, which will be headed to London, which we've talked about a little bit. But I do wonder if one of these games is going to end up being postponed because of it, and might end up having somewhere in that week that it might be a League Cup game, then playing in the Club World Cup, and then potentially playing in that final as well, all within about a week, maybe even less than maybe 11 days, something like that. It will be crazy to think about. Bear in mind that Arsenal do lose Caitlin Ford, Kyra Cooney-Cross, and and Steph Catley as well for the Asian Cup. Asian Cup as well, because that will be kicking off in January. So it's not a good look at the moment, but it's
not a good look, but we've sort of got the depth bar the midfield for me at the moment. So I'm a little bit not too worried about the back line. I'm not too worried about the wing. It's the middle of the park that's the issue. Thing is, Kim can't really manage. Well, she can manage on her own, but it's like, especially she's been out for so long, we don't want to press that too quickly. Same with Leah Williamson. Might be time for Leah Cadena. I don't know.
Leah Cadena.
Leah and Lotta at the back. What do you think?
At the back. I'm not too sure. I think if we're going to talk about one player that springs to mind, who's just finished in the US with your favourite Portland Thorns, returning back, Layla Harbour, she could be potentially one that could fill the void. Also a homegrown player, which will also help very much so in the homegrown quarter, should that be an issue, which it's not, because of how talented our academy has been, as well as the players that we have brought in the past, in that using that British and English, or however you want to see it. Even Katie McKay, for example, technically she can be classed as a homegrown player. I think she was signed when she was 16, so 16 to 18, she's technically homegrown player. So that all helps on that front. But bearing that in mind, there is going to be a draw for a League Cup. And this one's going to be fun and games because anyone can play anyone. This usually ends up being when it gets to the quarterfinals, it usually means Arsenal either play Aston Villa or Tottenham, or West Ham is one of the ones that usually ends up happening. This time around, Arsenal can face Chelsea and Manchester United, who have been Champions League action alongside ourselves, Manchester City, Liverpool, West Ham, Crystal Palace, or the arch rivals of Tottenham. I think I know you're going to say who you want to play and who you want to avoid, but I'm going to let you have the floor there.
Who do I want to play? Come on, surprise me.
I think you will want to go for West Ham or Palace.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
West Ham or Palace, I think you're going to say.
As long as it's not Chelsea, United or City, I'm happy. I don't care. I'll happily take on Spurs again if that goes to penalty shootouts and I'm freezing up in the North Bank. Let's do it.
Let's
do it. There's 3,500 of us out there. It said it was 1 degree. It felt like -5. It was cold.
You know what? I think
Wednesday night.
For the good of the cup. Sorry to cut you off there, Lottie. For the good of the cup, I would like to see Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City all face each other in that first round. It will make it a little bit more.
Do you know what? I know I think about it. Let's take on Chelsea.
Let's have
Chelsea. I'm going to pick Chelsea because
a little bit more spice.
We should have won that game 3-1. End of story. So I quite fancy Chelsea.
A little bit more spice to that sort of game. And to be honest, I think people are getting fed up of the same teams being in the semi-finals. Give Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City one side of the draw, and then give the other side Liverpool, West Ham, and Crystal Palace and Tottenham the other side of the draw. That would probably make it a little bit more evenly spread, and then you don't have other fans complaining. I mean, we still don't know where the location of the final is going to be, but after the disaster class that was Derby last season, I really hope that they do find somewhere a bit more decent, shall we say, this time around.
Gillingham's ground could be fun.
How many seats is it? Just
10,000.
10,000. It's too small.
I know it's too small. They've got a permanent stand that moved in 2 years ago. It was meant to be just scaffolding. It's been there 20 years. So can you imagine us piling onto that?
Well, I think the stadiums that they're looking at now are around that 30,000 or higher. Oddly enough, when I did the Football Manager, it said that it went down as Vicarage Road. So, and that's 28,000 seater stadium. So, never say never. but it was quite an interesting one. I don't think that people want to know about my FM save at the moment, but it's a very good save at the moment that I'm enjoying at the moment with Arsenal winning. But we should talk about the game itself. The Arsenal lineup, according to the BBC, Arsenal were playing a 4-2-3-1 with Daphne von Domselaar in goal, Emily Fox, Lotta Wibben-Moy, Steph Catley, and Katie McCabe as the back four, Cara Cooney-Cross and Mariona Caldente as the double pivot. That meant Chloe Kelly, Frida Lindhausen-Mornan as the attacking midfielder, and Olivia Smith on the right side, with Alessia Russo on top as the striker, shall I say. Was there any surprises for you?
Sorry, done it again. No, not really. It was a pretty standard lineup when it came out, and we were just heading into the ground. So it wasn't too bad. I was quite happy with it. I was more curious to see if what Real Madrid put out, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
We all know Caroline Weir, I know her very well. And she's out on fire out in Spain. So I fully expected her to get past Daphne, unfortunately.
Well, if we're going to talk about Real Madrid, that Real Madrid have got Misa Rodriguez in goal. That was because Mel Froms is still injured at the moment. Navarro, Mendes Lacroix, Yasmin, Sarah Debret, Philippa Angadal, Caroline Weir, Linda Caicedo, Athena Del Castillo, and Fella as the striker. That was how they lined it up. Curious to see Linda Caicedo as the attacking midfielder. I would have thought she would be a wider player, not
unless she plays across the front. So
interesting. So I think, to be honest, in that first half, I was looking at it, trying to watch it, and bear in mind that I missed this game because I was at training, so I tried to watch the first half back. I just couldn't seem to focus on the game itself. I don't know what it was, but was it a really hard watch in the stadium that first half?
Yeah, Real Madrid started really well. I obviously took the lead through Caroline Weir. It showed their capability, like to hit hard, hit fast, and get it in the back of the net down in the clock end. But it's just they couldn't maintain the intensity they started. And the organisation, I think that's where it started to kind of unravel for them. During that first half, a lot of people were saying, like, Chloe Kelly needs to get into the game. But if you kind of watch back from, not being in the stands, it's a very different story. I think the goal initially, we could have tightened our backline a bit quicker. But other than that, I was just like, do you know what? We're going into the second half. We've still got another 45 minutes of football standing in the cold. What else could go wrong?
Let's just quickly go through that goal because Caroline Weir scores. It is a rocket. Like Caroline Weir, she should become an astronaut because she does love a pocket rocket. Basically, it's a free kick. Arsenal clear. I think it's Kyra that heads it clear the first shot, but it's a spoon of it's not a clear header in terms of it's gone up and it sort of floats instead of up and out like a nice clearance that usually that most defenders are known for. And because of that, Caroline Weir, who's on the edge of the area, she rushes in, and Arsenal fail to realise that the players got Caroline Weir's coming onto it. Everyone's not rushing to make that clearance to attempt it to make that block. And because of that, Caroline Weir's just hit it so sweetly, and it's just a rocket. And you can't just goalkeeping point of view, you can't save something like that because it's just hit with so much venom so quickly. you don't have much time to react. And even if Daphne does manage to get something on it, it still would have gone in.
Yeah, well, that was down the other in the south stand. So when it went in, it was just like, oh, great, here we go again. We, as we've mentioned before, we haven't had a clean sheet since October. Was it? Yeah, since October, and it's just like, here we go again, and we're gonna have to sort of come back and do this the hard way. We never do it easy, unless we're playing West Ham and we're scoring goals for them. Yeah. Second half was a little bit more hopeful, hoping for some more fresh legs. I mean, Olivia Smith's first half shots, they were good, but it's just no kind of, as you said, like venom in the last, like online to get it on target and get the back of the net rippling. She came close several times, but it was just unlucky.
Well, Arsenal needed the wake up call. It does annoy me when, for whatever reason, the club don't like to go and score the first goal, and when they do score the first goal, I'm trying to think the last time I think the last time Arsenal went in front in a game was actually against Leicester. I might be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, whether it's in the comments or further down the line.
I
Just
think
the
it was
team.
Leicester.
I think it is. I'm not too sure,
Mm-hmm.
but just if okay, it's Leicester and things like that. But when it's a team like Real Madrid who are okay, but they're not the greatest team when it comes to European football. They have star quality players, but they don't have a star quality team compared to, for example, Arsenal, Barcelona, Lyon, teams that have won the Champions League or have gone close, bar Chelsea. Had to get that in there. Apologies. It's just one of those where I look at and you want to be on the front foot. You want to score that first goal. Let's look back at the two sets of games. So the terrible game in Madrid, which Arsenal failed to. If I remember, they only got like 3 shots on target in the entire game. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Whereas go to the Emirates and within 8 minutes, Chloe Kelly's put a ball into the box and Mariona Alessia and Alessia again. Although Alessia should have had a hat trick that night.
Absolutely. I was behind the North Bank filled with those.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was robbed. That's all I'm saying. I'm still waiting for that hat trick to happen.
I got my hat trick over the weekend, so I'm happy.
Everyone else got their hat trick. I still waiting for my hat trick. So yes, but it's just one of those where 52 minutes on the clock. Chloe Kelly, you're asking her to do something. The old Prado with a stick sort of thing. Come on, do something. She does something. Yep. Chloe Kelly's second attempt with the cross, because the first time it was blocked by the defender. It finds the it finds the head of Alessia Russo, and it loops over Misa Rodriguez into the net. 1-1, game on.
Oh no, absolutely. As soon as we came out, our resilience kicked in. We've always been a resilient team. The game state management was absolutely so much better in the second half, considering we were 1-0 down. I think regrouping, like shifting gears in the second half, was a major boost. When you actually look at the game itself, we actually had a chance to use the wider areas sort of effectively, and shift the ball wide out to Chloe Kelly, and then just basically taking Madrid on in those 1v1 opportunities. And then the cross is going in, and then you see it kind of loop round into Alessia Russo, and it's straight in off her head, and we were back in the game. That's exactly what you want in the second half.
When watching this back, you don't really realise it, but there's actually Frida Marnham actually looks in an offside. She's come from an offside position to run back. But is she interfering with play? That is the question.
No.
So there we go. Therefore, the goal stands.
Exactly. I did notice that in the highlights when I rewatched them back. Like maybe just before we start recording, I was like, "Hang on a minute, she's offside." The liner didn't see it because the liner was in line with her, so that didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Well, you've already mentioned this a little bit earlier on. So Arsenal looked to find a second, and it was Olivia Smith that was unable to fire twice. Well, she had two shots. One of them, I think, it's the second one where she goes to hit it, but she hits it straight at Misa, and there's another one that goes just wide. Olivia Smith, although not in amongst the goals at the moment. I know we mentioned was that a while back with London City Lionesses game and that goal. Do you think that goal's coming?
It's like every striker. Like, do you remember how Leslie started out in the first season? It was woodwork, miss, wide. It was like that. And this season, she's found her feet. I mean, she's had 8 goals since the beginning of the season, I think it is. And that's what we expect from her with her work rate of not being up top as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. I know I've sat here before and whinged and moaned about it, but I want to be seeing Alessia score. That's what she's there for. But it's, I think it is Olivia trying to find her feet as well and managing everything else that comes with like moving down to London and everything else. I am happy to give her more time, but that first goal was, I'm here. And now I think some people would be expecting more from her a bit sooner rather than later.
Would it be a problem, say, further down the line that you look at and not a now problem because of how she's not the answer to the solution straight away, shall we say?
Yeah. At this point, she isn't the answer to the solution. Well, the solution to the answer, I should say. Sorry, but she's what we need. But it's a case of kind of fitting that all together. So, like as you said, we're gonna lose Caitlin Ford over January. Reason I'm not worried about that is we can put Olivia Smith there. We can play Chloe Kelly there. Or we can switch it around and have Beth Mead there. And then they can, with Chloe and Beth, they can switch rings all the time. So it's going to be an opportunity for her to get a little bit more settled within the team and get some more minutes under her belt and hopefully get some more goals then.
Well, I think if you were to put her on the scale right now, I think you'd probably say she's satisfied, but I think she's got that hunger to do better. And I think that's the best.
You see it when you watch it back after her second shot, she smacks the grass, smacks the turf. You can see she's getting frustrated, and we know the more frustrated you're going to get, the less likely it's going to hit the net.
Well, although some people like to, when they get frustrated, they go and smash the ball, and then it ends up going in the back of the net. So maybe it's one of those.
Some people do, but it just wasn't happening for her on that night. That's what I was saying.
I'm confident that in Olivia Smith to throughout the season come up with big moments. You know what? I would probably count on of the wide players. 3 of the 4 players I would probably count on as having a big moment at one point or another, whether it's mainly through an assist, and you will probably predict which one I'm going to say. Probably I won't say will be the big moment player because she tends to be in the background a little bit more when it comes to the games that really matter. But let's carry on. 66 minutes on the clock. Beth Mead with a corner. She goes and goes. Where's my lioness bestie? There she is. Puts it on a 6-piece for her, and into the back of Alessia Russo again.
Do I have to say it? Set piece again, ole ole. No, these Alessia's second goal was Beth in the corner. Well, Beth took the corner right in front of me, so it was definitely a set piece. I mean, after like the corner and then the delivery, and then it was on target, and then it just bounced off Alessia's head. With the run and the finish, I mean, I can't complain. You can see that like that is pure evidence of like we've been practicing our set pieces. Thing is, once we managed to kind of unravel Real Madrid, they kind of didn't, as I've said already, they didn't maintain their intensity or the organisation. But they defended from the wide crosses and the wide positions was so exposed once our wide deliveries were coming in. Just as they came in earlier and earlier and earlier, as time went on, like the defenders were all on like the back foot. You even had Athena Del Castillo back defending, and that's not something you see very often.
I love her so much. She's such an exciting player.
Oh no, she's a joy to watch, but she's horrible to play against. Yeah. I hate it. But yeah, it's just, I think the mentality at Arsenal at the moment is winning big games requires readiness to respond to adversity, and that's what we have done. We've kind of understood the assignment in the fact that we don't have a second leg to fix this. We need to fix it now. There's no messing about, and I think ultimately that's what got us over the line.
With what happened in Munich as well, it was, I think, it's another shock to the system. The fact that you go in and you're almost thinking when you're going 1-0 down, it was like, oh, wow, not again. I hope this doesn't happen again. And they just turned it on their heads. But this, for me, it's an issue because of yes, it does show how much of how determined and how gritty you are. But the game against Bayern Munich showed you exactly how to play against Arsenal in that second half. They just absolutely, Bayern Munich looked completely different compared to that second half. And the worry, that is a worry, is that this is now the second time. Well, this actually, yeah, three of the 4 games that Arsenal played in this Champions League, they haven't really got points to back up their claims that they're European champions. The ones that I'll just look at the stats. For example, Arsenal had 10 shots to Real Madrid's 13. Real Madrid had 5 of those on targets, 2 off, 6 blocked. Arsenal had 4 shots on target, 3 of them off, and 3 were blocked. You're losing a shots battle in your own backyard. That is a worry for me in itself.
It is concerning, but it's the clinical execution was missing from both teams in those high pressure moments, and that's what the issue was throughout the whole game for both sides of things. And it's, I don't know how to put it, but it's down to the play at the end of the day. If you haven't got that clinical execution, you're not going to close the game.
Well, because of Alessia Russo scoring that brace, it does mean she was in the team of the week. So she also got the player of the match award as well, which is a nice little trophy, actually. I quite like these little handheld ones that they're getting. It's nice to see them holding something like means a little bit more now, instead of like it used to be like a little bottle of champagne and things like that. So it's nice to see that they're getting these sort of things, but it does mean that Alessia Russo is probably going to need to build another trophy cabinet sooner or later. Shall we look at the table then? Because unfortunately, it's.
Go on then.
So I want to thank UEFA actually because they actually made this a lot more easier to understand. So top of the league is Barcelona, followed by Lyon, Wolfsburg, and Man United. Yes, Man United have officially qualified now. They could potentially end up being in an automatic quarterfinal game, depending on what happens in their last two games, which are against. I had it here. I can't find it now. I can find it. It's Lyon and Juventus. So I think Manchester United know they're safe, so they can basically throw those games if they really wanted to. But I think Lyon's going to absolutely batter them. Bayern Munich come next. They've also qualified. Then it's Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Juve. This is the interesting bit because these four teams are technically the seeded part of the knockouts. So that means that they would be the more likely to get the home tie second. And that follows after Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, OHL Leuven, who Arsenal do place next, and Paris FC just cling on to that last slot for qualification to the knockout rounds. It's not good enough. 6 points. It looks like 9 points seems to be enough now to qualify, which means if Arsenal do go and beat Twente next time out, then they will be qualified, but it'll be a case of where they finish when they face OHL Leuven. Where, if just to put this into perspective, Twente on the 9th of December, they got one of the youngest squads in this league. Their oldest player is 29. They have already drew to Benfica and Chelsea, so they are a team that are tough to play against. Whereas you've got OH Leuven, 17th December, last game week. They've got a young squad as well. Their oldest player is 31. And for those that are wondering what's happening with Chelsea, Chelsea face Roma and Wolfsburg. So there are games there where potentially Chelsea can slip out of those seeded slots, and potentially Arsenal can move into a seeded slot. But this is what it is like in the Champions League now.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm actually quite enjoying this format. I mean, there's no two legs to come back from. It's the first attempt and go. I like it in the men's Champions League as well. I just enjoy it a bit better rather than home and away, home and away, home and away. It's a lot less football, but there's no margin for any form of error at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you also get to see teams that we don't necessarily play. Like, I knew as soon as we drew Bayern Munich, I knew we weren't winning that if we were going to play at the Allianz. We don't win it. Arsenal do not win at the Allianz. We do not. So I instantly knew we weren't winning that. I was comfortable at 2-0 and I was like, go on, Renee, destroy me. Go on. And she did. And of course, Pernod Harder had to be a part of that application. So, these last two teams, don't take them with a pinch of salt because they're here for a reason, and they're teams that don't normally get this opportunity to play us. So I'm quite looking forward to the new talent on the show, if I'm honest with you.
I actually watched a little bit of the Leuven-Roma game, which was their last game, and they managed to come away with something. And they are going to be one of those teams that have that unpredictability about them. It hasn't worked out as they might have planned, but I think they are exactly where they want, where they think they are, where they deserve to be, considering of how well they've done this season. I do just think though that the game against Twente, with how they've played, how they've done, again, I think, to be honest, it might just be these two games are used as scouting missions to find potentially the new players in the WSL in the next January window, or maybe in the summer.
Could be a very well shout. I mean, look at Vic Palova and Laura was it Laura that she stepped? No.
Yeah, Laura Weinrich.
It's Laura that she stepped on. She stepped on Tiny Tank. And then a couple of weeks she was signed. I was like, what? I was not happy. But
Oh, I thought
it's
you were
all love
talking
now,
about
mate.
I thought you were talking about Lara being the player that sent Arsenal through with the own goal against when she was playing
No, no,
for
no, no.
Hoffenheim.
Palova stepped on, I think,
Oh, it was Leah. I think it
Leah
was Leah.
Volti. Yeah, it was Leah Volti. So I know we've joked many times I'd love to be on a fly on the wall when she turned up to training. Wow. But I think going into these games, I think we need to remember the importance of our wide play and early crossing for our set pieces. Pieces. Or one of our danger tools. It can tilt contested games. It can change the course of the game, and it did. And even if you start as well as say Real Madrid on Wednesday, you've got to be able to sustain that in both like tactical discipline, attacking intent, and second half to exploit the opponent. But again, Real Madrid didn't do that. But we managed to grasp hold of that and do that. But that's what I want to see taken into the next game and the game after that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's Champions League, WSL. Yeah, that's all we've got before Christmas. I was about to say cup games. I'm like, no, we've got no cup games.
Not yet.
And also like just game management, managing the game and just making sure you're switched on, know when to press, know when to calm it down, speed it up, defend. Instead of just chasing the game. That's what we did in the first half. We chased it. And it's just no kind of focus, if that makes sense. I think they're more the lessons learned from Real Madrid, but I want the girls to take that into the next game and then go from there. And hopefully we can kick on from there and hopefully get a seated spot as someone falls over their feet.
I think that obviously with international break now happening, I would like to see the game against Liverpool will be probably an important milestone through the season, because that's going to be how you set yourself up just before you go on to break, especially when you play an away at Goodison Park the next week, and then slotting in the Twente game and the Leuven game after both of those games is tough ask. Don't get me wrong. I do think this is where we're going to see Leah Williamson back on the pitch officially, and I'm hoping it's going to be an Emirates homecoming, because I think she has been missed. I can't put it any other way. She has been missed. I think the game management side, Leah Williamson she's not an expert, but she has enough experience to say we need to do this.
She's cool, calm, and collected, and she leads. As much as Russo leads the line, Leah leads the back line, and she's the glue that kind of keeps everyone balanced. So
Kim's the strings in the middle.
Absolutely, it's puppeteer. So yeah, no, I can't wait for Leah to be back on the pitch. I'm quite excited for that.
Well, I think that we will see some interesting games as well with the international break being held. I do believe England do face China and Ghana in those games. One of those is at Wembley. The other one is, I'm going to get this completely wrong, I think it's at the the Ghana game is happening down at St Mary's, so there's going to be an opportunity there to see the Lionesses show off the European trophy. But in the meantime, the Arsenal time is finished. I would like to see Rennie reflect on everything and hopefully come back with a better plan A and plan B. But for the moment, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. And don't forget about Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, tickle the likes button. Just give us your thoughts and feelings. We do like to read them as well. They are sometimes you do get some interesting ones. I think we had one a couple of weeks ago suggesting we get a Brazilian midfielder in. Which we still are wondering which Brazilian midfielder it is.
It's too cold for them over here. It's not going to happen. I still can't believe Rafaeli left because of the cold weather and the lack of sun. It makes me sad.
Well, her contract finishes in a month. Shall we try and see if she wants to play and come back?
Leah, get on the phone. Get her back.
Maybe she can bring in a Brazilian midfielder as well alongside her. But that is all from us as well. Lottie, where can the lovely people find you?
As Matt mentioned, you can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and all your audio platforms at VAW Pod. You can find me, Lottie _AWFC on Twitter when I feel like it. Instagram, you can always catch up with my match day photos. I haven't published my Real Madrid ones yet. And occasionally Blue Sky.
And you can find me at SmathOR28, usually on all the platforms. But that is all from us now. We will see you in a little while, I think, Crocodile. But for now, come on, you.